All right. Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen, AM 1150 and 96.1 FM, and streaming live from WTMP.com. Let's go to Charlene. Charlene, tell us your story. You told us about your uncle's story. Tell us about your life and second chances, and tell us about your story. We want to hear it.
Okay. Hope. There is hope, because for me, I was 16 years old when I left home because of a household of drug using and alcohol. And that was something that I just didn't want to live my life, just seeing my mom and the entire family just partying every weekend, using drugs. And I wanted a different life. They didn't have anything, and I wanted a different life. So at 16, I called a cab, probably 3 o'clock in the morning, and called it to the bus station. And I didn't know where I was going to go, but I got to that bus station. I wanted to go somewhere, and I thought about, well, I have an aunt here in Florida, so I said, that's where I'm going to go, because I thought about the palm trees and everything. And coming up, you see the commercials in Florida, and you see his palm trees and everything. And I said, let me go there, yeah. So I come here, and I was given a second chance in life, and I started off in the shelter in the Metropolitan Ministries and worked my way on up from there.
Oh, just fine.
And through there, I had a lot of obstacles, and it was hard because I was a young girl, couldn't get a place because I was under 18. So it was really hard for me with my 2 children. At the time, I had 2 children and was pregnant. About the age of 19. About the age of 19. So, you know, with that saying that it is hope and a second chance for anyone if you want it. You know, you have to want it.
That's right.
And
you have to have a strong desire.
Exactly. And I still lived a good life.
All right. Let's go to the phone lines. Welcome to Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. What say you, caller?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
And to my 2 favorite brothers, Akeem and Charles. I love you both. And to the good morning to the panel.
Thank you.
I'm listening to your story. It's very inspiring. Even here on the plantation, 1950. We all explained to me how much did God please in your second chance. I have heard none of your panel mentions of God and they recover in the second chance. Could y'all expound how much did God please in your second chance? Thanks for letting me share a long time listening to the show, and I'm enjoying this topic.
Thank you. I think you probably missed it because I'm going to go to Ebony. She talked about strong faith and having in God. Definitely God played a role, and I'll go around the panel on that. But I'm going to go to you, Ebony. You can talk about the role God played. But tell me, what are the, because she looks so lovely sitting there, what are the successful treatment? And what's the treatments for this rare disease called the VIX? Because you can never tell. I mean, you know, you look so nice there. The treatment working? Is it a therapy? Tell our listeners something about the treatment.
There's no cure.
No cure?
No cure.
So you have to live with it?
You have to live with it. Only thing that does help is it's a drug. It's like a chemo, but it's in a pill form. And also muscle relaxers, because when you have this disease, even with MS, sometimes you can't control your muscles. They'll move involuntarily. So there is no cure for it.
So it's a muscle relaxer, and the pill is something like a chemo.
Chemo.
And what kind of therapy is it? Any physical therapy that's involved?
That's a problem for me.
Okay.
Because if you don't have good insurance, you're not going to get no physical therapy. They feel if there's no hope for you in their eyes, that physical therapy is a waste of time. So they don't provide that for you unless you're in the hospital, and you'll be lucky if you get it in the hospital.
Yeah, and that's why we had our President Barack Hussein Obama trying to get this health care, these Republicans up there trying to kill it. I mean, how can they determine there ain't no hope for you? Physical therapy is a part of the whole comprehensive treatment process. That's a shame for God in the country that's the richest country in the world, and our ancestors worked from get bright to get night to help build this country. Now when it come time, you know, for this kind of treatment, that's criminal. Okay, so Hakeem the Dream.
Yeah, I would like to say to the listening audience, I want you to feel free to call in
and tell us about your chances of second chances. The phone line is open, and I'm sure that everyone got a story to tell. And again, it's inspiration and hope to those who may be going through what you have went through, and they need the encouragement or the upliftment that let them know to hold on, because better days up ahead. So
very good.
Give us a chance to address the symptom. Ma'am, coming back to you, you about the first person that I ever heard of that actually been in the hospital that left on your own.
That's right. I keep the dream.
I don't mean it like that.
I keep the dream. Hey, Ebony, he didn't know how to put it.
Yeah.
You know, but so he said you're a rare breed to walk out of hospice.
Yeah, that's true. You know.
So how did that make you feel? I think that's what you're trying to say, right, Drink?
Yes.
It makes me feel good because I've never been sick. So when this hit me, I had to really humble myself and just be strong and pray. Because they was getting me ready. They wanted me to videotape, you know, stuff for my kids to leave behind. I told them I'm not doing that right now.
And see, that also psychologically how that play on you. Psychologically, you never embraced that. You never embraced hospice, even though you was physically there. And that shows our listeners that you have to be strong. And that's why I'm gonna move now to our brother Eddie. Eddie, how did you develop these survival skills, man? To survive a 27-year experience on death row, and you survived it. What kind of survival skills did you have to develop for you to now be here talking to us?
Well, I was listening to the caller saying about faith. I knew it was God that brought me through that. You know, I'm a strong believer in God, and I knew that I had to have somebody to help me. You know, make it through that thing. And my thing is to a lot of these guys, you know, there's a lot of temptation in there. And if you don't have no kind of help to make it through that thing, you subjected to a lot of wicked things in there. Homosexual, gambling, drugs,
murder, lying, worst of the worst.
But I had some prestigious jobs, you know. I worked for the major, I worked for the colonel. And my thing is, you know, when you have jobs like that, you know, you put in a situation where you be called a snitch, and I know I'm not a snitch. You know, I wasn't a snitch when I went in there. But I'm no saint neither, you know. I like to gamble. And I gamble. But I thought about it, you know, all you can win is soups. But you can also get killed for soups.
See, that's the main point. You win soup, but you can get killed for it. Make the point, brother.
And I asked myself, I said, do I really want to just play for soups and either lose my life for soup, or do I just want to just do my time and get out of there? So I made a vow to myself. I said, well, I'm just going to put this thing behind me. I'm just do my time. A lot of guys play for that fame in there. You know, I was a pretty good athlete in there. So I decided, I said, well, I'm just going to stick to my sports. But I try to tell a lot of young guys, you know, don't just get caught up in sports. Get in that library, man.
Right.
Try to get yourself out of here.
And make it an education institution. Are we going to come back to you, Mr. Bennett, because we have somebody on the line, a special guest calling on the line. He have a story to tell about a life and second chances. This is a brother from Africa, Mr. Chris Palin. Had a chance to play for the NBA, and now he got a second chance in life, but we're going to let him tell the story. Welcome to Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. Good morning, Mr. Chris. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
All right. Tell us a little about yourself, and then go ahead and tell us your story.
My name is Chris Novas. My name is Chris Taylor. I took my grandfather's last name because he passed away 3 years ago. In honor for my mom, because, you know, I'm the only male household and family, so I wanted to carry on the name because the name carries big significance in the sense that, you know, I wrote the national anthem, you know, composed the national anthem for Kenya. And I
Okay.
did first
Okay,
major.
slow down a bit, caller, Mr. Chris. You wrote, somebody in your family wrote the national anthem for the country of Kenya in Africa?
Yeah, George Sanogo's Arcade.
Oh, okay. That's great. All right, go and continue your story.
So the basketball community knows me as Chris Sanogo's Arcade, and everybody in Tampa knows me as Chris Taylor. I grew up in Tampa since I've been 13. Since I was 13, I grew up in Tampa, and I've been here ever since. My dad was in the military, so I was born in Kenya. I grew up there for 6 years.
All right. Tell us how did opportunity come for you had a chance to play in the National Basketball Association? That's huge, brother, because few people get that kind of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I've always been blessed that I was surrounded by good people. I mean, you know, I wasn't a rich kid or nothing like that, but I did that through my parents and just hard work and just having faith and staying focused. And had opportunity to work out with the Denver Nuggets and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay. So did you go to college?
I did go to college. I went to Florida State my freshman year. I walked off for the team under Coach Steve Robinson.
Okay. And tell us some of the players that we would know that you played with at Florida State that probably made it to the pros.
Delvon Arrington, Monty Cummings, Antoine Dixon, guys that went on to play overseas. And, you know, I was there for a year before transferring to the Citadel military school where I ended up graduating from with a biology degree and still playing basketball. And then I took my career overseas. And I've been playing overseas ever since. So I just started my dad's foundation, actually, because my father passed away 2 years ago. So we're trying to reach out to the community and give back to kids.
All right, we're gonna give you a chance to give out a phone number and a website for your father's foundation because we really appreciate you. We want to give back. But I think my co-host Hakeem the Dream got a question.
When you're calling the show at this particular time, brother, and if you were listening earlier, we was talking about situation that confronts people in their everyday life. So from what I heard, I didn't quite hear your situation. What make you candidate, I guess, for second chances? Could you tell us about that?
Second chances. I didn't really. I mean, growing up wasn't easy. It was always a struggle. But the one thing I could say that was a strong. My mom was my backbone and my dad was my backbone. They always encouraged me to not only play sports. You know, when you're growing up, you get spankings and they try to discipline you that way. But once they find out what your true passion is, they can discipline you through that way. My passion was basketball. We didn't really go out as kids. We didn't go hang out with people. We didn't go to movies and stuff like that. We didn't have cell phones like the things that some kids have now. So if I messed up in school, they would punish me by not letting me play the sport I love so much. And that was like my meditation that I needed basketball. At the same time, though, they made sure I was doing everything through God. And they also made sure that academics come first. You can always break a bone. You can always, tear a ligament.
All right. All right, then we're going to have you back on the show, and when we get a chance so that we can bring you in the studio and let you tell your full story. But give our listeners a website or phone number, how they can get involved with your foundation, and we really always want to promote that.
Well, I will be in by next week. I'll give you all the information. It's a Ronnie Keith Taylor Foundation. Again, we're just reaching out to the community, and we'll have an email set up and everything. It's official as of July 21st, 2011. So I'll have all the information to you, and I'll definitely hand it out to you by next week.
All right, then. Call back next week. Thank you for the call. I want to thank Chuck Taylor for telling us about this young man, and Chuck working with the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. They're doing a big thing over there at Ruth Chris, August the 12th, I believe it is, raising money for them. And so I want to go back now, Hakeem the Dream, go back to Miss Charlene. Charlene, tell us, your story is compelling as well. You talked about being 16 and being in Metropolitan Ministry. Tell us more about your story, and now how did you overcome that and give us the success. Now we got to get to the success part of it. Life and second chance. We want to hear the success part of Mr. Bennett, and we're going to, of course, get back to Ebony. Tell us the success part now.
Okay. The success part was that after going through those trials and tribulations, with me and my children being homeless, we obtained a place to stay. I went back to school, developing my master's degree.
In what?